Welcome to Meet Me Halfway. I am Jordan Griffith. He is Austin McNorton. We're very sorry that we missed 2 shows. It was my fault, I'll be honest this time. I was in Sin City. I was in Los Angeles.
Tearing it up.
Having a great freaking time. I loved it.
Tell the people what a power move you are.
Well, it was my very first time being in Vegas. So something that we've been talking about adamantly on the show is sports betting, putting money down on good lines, good odds that we think. So I went down with all that knowledge in my brain. I went down and I put down 20 sports bets, 3 for my man Austin here.
Oh,
and on slot machines, I won about north of $900. Which for the first time there is pretty good. So I had just a fantastic time. I went there and I did exactly what I wanted to do. I said I want to go down there. I said I want to gamble. I want to put my money down on sports and just have a good time. And that's what I did. And I barely even drank, which was fun. I drank one Smirnoff Ice the entire time I was there, and I didn't even really want to. I was drinking Gatorades. That was fantastic. It was a great time. And I'm going back down in March, and so is Austin.
Well, we'll see.
Am I right?
We'll see.
But you're coming down to Georgia, though. That's a fact.
That is a fact.
That is a fact. All right. We're going to dive right in. We have missed
a lot that happened.
A lot has happened this past week. So we're going to start off with the most important news. The Toronto Raptors win the NBA title. The Warriors have been dethroned. Beautiful stuff. There's no secret that we were rooting for this to happen. Kawhi, Fred VanVleet, Pascal Siakam, all of them came together and they were able to dethrone the Warriors, a hobbled Warriors team. Kevin Durant tears his Achilles. Klay Thompson tears his ACL. So both those guys are going to be out until mid to late of next season. So that's gonna have big implications on the West next year. But the Raptors win the NBA title. Kawhi Leonard wins Finals MVP. Beautiful stuff. I mean, what else can you say? That's just great stuff.
Just shocking, really. I mean, we talked about it on the cave when everyone's DeMarcus Cousins and everything that happened over the summer. You and I talked about it and saying, well, it's already over. Like, there's just no point. We know what's going to happen. The Warriors are going to win. But they got plagued by injuries, or else they would have won. I mean, they still took it to a Game 6, and they didn't have 2 out of their 3 best players out there.
Right.
Their best player didn't play pretty much the entire time. And when he did play in Game 5, he played really well. So you would have seen what a difference he would have made already, which is interesting when it comes to free agency. But it's just shocking, really. I mean, everyone knows they had the best team. And now it could be the end of a dynasty, which is really hard to do. But I think the Raptors just ended it. And a lot of people think that.
Yeah. I would tend to agree because we're not sure what Klay and KD are going to be. KD I'm more worried about than Klay because Klay has a very simple game when it comes to an ACL. It's not going to be as big of a problem as Achilles is for Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Very, very pull up mid-range jumper, pull up 3-point jumper. It's going to take a lot more coming back from that, I think, for Kevin Durant than it is for Klay Thompson. But so you think Klay and Kevin Durant stay, or you think either of them leave?
I still think Kevin Durant will leave. I just think he wants to be the guy somewhere. I mean, I think a lot more people are starting to give him a little more credit, especially after seeing what the Warriors did without him being there. They're starting to give him a little more credit, saying, oh, you really are the guy. But there's still always going to be, oh, well, it's Steph's city. It's his team. He was there. You joined him.
Yeah.
Where he could go somewhere and be like, I'm the guy. People join me. This is my team. This is my city. I still think he wants that. Klay, on the other hand, I don't know. I could see Klay potentially saying, give me something, give me a little bit, 1-year deal maybe, help me get healthy, and then we'll see what happens from there. I don't know if he'll really want to say, oh, I can go get a beast deal somewhere, and because he's not ever going to be the guy. I mean, where Kevin Durant could be. So I think Klay might stay a little more than I did before he got hurt. But I still think Kevin Durant's gone. Plus, based on history, I mean, I have no reason to believe he won't leave. I mean, even if he says he's going to stay, I won't believe it until the contract is signed. So, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah. So with this, who should be the? And this is a very tough question now because West is wide open. So just real quick, we'll go down. We have Golden State. You have Draymond Green. So say you still return the two.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to be right until the season after. So you're looking 2 years down the road. So in 2021, 2022.
They'll still be in that Western Conference Finals hunt, though.
They'll still be in the hunt. But you have a Steph Curry, Draymond Green team.
Mm-hmm.
You have the Utah Jazz just acquired Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert. You have LA Lakers with Anthony Davis, LeBron James. Houston Rockets are still there if that team stays together. You have the Denver Nuggets. They were the 2 seed last year. People forget about them. You have Portland Trailblazers. All of a sudden, all these teams look a lot better since we were just talking about it not too long ago. And I do want to point this out though before.
And there's still Denver too. Don't forget about Denver either.
Yeah, exactly. I want to point this out. I kind of maybe want to brag a little bit. Who was the one who said the Raptors would get to the finals? I can't. It was so. There's 2 of us on the show, right? One of us said it. I can't. I know I'm not good at math. I know you're better at that. Dang. I'm stumped.
Who said Portland would beat Denver though? So I mean, who's really the better one?
Yeah, you won by about 2 points. So yeah, I think I did a little better on that one. We'll move past it. But for you, with the teams as they are, who should be the favorite out of the Western Conference?
Out of the Western, I mean, there's still a lot that could happen. So if you were just to say right now, because the Lakers don't have
we can't predict anything. So yeah, exactly. As of the teams of right now, favorite out of the West.
I would say it's right now between the Rockets, Warriors, and probably Utah, honestly. I think they're probably in it. Now, of course, there's a lot of things that could still happen. I mean, if the Warriors lose KD, then I would take them out. If the Lakers add a guard, any name guard, then I think they're in it. But, of course, Denver. But I think Utah made a significant jump to battle with the Warriors. So if I were to say right now, I would say it's between the Warriors and the Jazz.
Yeah.
I think the Jazz legitimately have a big 3 right now. Whereas Portland, they have 2. Denver, they kind of have 2. The Warriors right now are the other team. And then the Lakers only have 2. And the Rockets really only have 2. So the Jazz have a legitimate big 3 along with the Warriors.
Yeah. I absolutely love what you were just saying there about the Jazz. So let me get to them. I'm taking the Warriors out completely. A Steph Curry and Draymond Green team, I'm not 100% sure that they're getting higher than a 7 seed in the playoffs.
Because, but then even if they do get that 7 seed, then by that time Clay,
yes, but they're not going to be they're not going to be contributors. They're going to be guys that you're going to bring back and you're going to try and get them in rotation, try and get them shots. But this is not going to be the Golden State Warriors of old. This is going to be a new team that is going to be reliant on Steph Curry carrying this team. I'm not sure he can even stay healthy, let alone you can stay healthy for an 82-game season. Your best player is Draymond Green. We all know that's not going to work. So Steph Curry, I completely take the Warriors out this year. Completely, 100%. Kevin Durant coming back from an Achilles is going to be
so you say irrelevant. The dynasty's over for the Warriors.
I don't know if the dynasty's over. I know it's not going to continue this season because I'm not sure if they stay. If they all stay, they still have a chance to keep winning. But if Clay's most likely staying, that's what everyone's been saying. If Kevin Durant still leaves, Clay comes back. The season after, I'll consider them once again. They'll probably be the favorites in my opinion. But this season, they're done. I'm out on the Warriors completely. The Lakers. And then it kind of, for me, it comes down to, do you have the big 3 or do you have the big 2 and some change? So like you were saying with the Lakers, you have the big 2 and then you have Kyle Kuzma. He counts as some change. Not very much depth anymore. They traded pretty much everything away to get Anthony Davis. The Rockets, you have the big 2 and then you kind of have some change when you have PJ Tucker, you have Clint Capella. But the Utah Jazz, I love the Utah Jazz.
It's a legitimate big 3.
When I was in Vegas, I was looking to bet on them to win the Western Conference because I'm sure the odds and the lines was going to be absolutely insane. And I don't know if it shot up because they're not out yet, but I would have put a lot of money on it. I'm a huge Mike Conley guy. You know me. Also, if you watched this Utah Jazz team last season, what was the one problem?
Point guard.
Point guard. It was such a stagnant offense.
Because Donovan Mitchell isn't a true, he's not that true point guard mentality of bring the ball up, kick it to an open guy. He brings the ball up. I'm Russell Westbrook. I'm going to dunk it.
Yeah, he is a purebred scorer of the basketball. Mike Conley is a purebred playmaker of the basketball. This is going to be the most exciting team in basketball this season. I love this. I do. You don't understand. When I woke up to this trade,
big Mike Conley
guy. I am a big Michael Conley guy. Also, can you imagine the lobs Rudy Gobert is getting? Can you imagine the chemistry that's going to happen between Michael Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert, who I think is the best pure center in the NBA? Beautiful stuff. I love this team. Now they gave up a little bit of depth. They gave up Kyle Korver, who is he a good starter or is he just like a waiver wire player at this point? We don't know. He's on and off all the time. You gave up Jay Crowder, and then I'm spacing on the other one, but you still have Joe Ingles. He plays tremendous defense. He can shoot the ball. I don't want to say that they're favorites out of the West because I haven't seen it from them yet. But I'm going to say they're the favorites out of the West.
They have a legitimate, as of right now. Obviously, if the Lakers add somebody or
right.
There's a lot that can still happen. But right now, they have the big three, where no one else does.
And I would have to put the Rockets right in there as well, because with 2 years back to back, you're within an inch of the team that was unbeatable. Now they just got beat in the finals, but that we all know that's not the same.
They're still unbeaten now.
Right. So you're looking at the Rockets as they were this close to beating the juggernaut of our lifetime. Mm-hmm. They were this close, twice this close. That has to resonate with the Rockets team. So I think the Rockets and the Jazz are going to be the 1 and 2.
Do you think getting that controversy with the Rockets is legitimate, or is that just hearsay stuff?
I think it might be legitimate. Now, I don't think it's a trade me or I'm going to burn this place down.
Is it a Chris Paul thing? Is Chris Paul an issue wherever he goes? Because it seems like he kind of is.
I'm not.
And I don't have that much problem with the guy, but it seems like a lot of people do. People hated him in the Clippers.
It's a good question. I don't know what's going on there, but if it comes down to the Rockets got to make a choice between James Harden and Chris Paul. Sorry, Chris.
It's a no-brainer.
Even if Chris was in his prime, James Harden's still a better player than Chris Paul is. So they're going to choose James Harden no matter what. I don't know if it's true.
I don't know.
I don't want it to be because I think this is the year that these guys can finally get to the finals. Because I think when they get to the finals, it's finally going to be an aha moment. They finally break through because all we had to do was get out of the West. That was our biggest objective, and they finally got over it. So Utah, Houston, I got Denver in there, LA. We'll see what goes on. And the Clippers, if they get one of these big guys too, they're going to be in the race too. But that segment was basically just me talking about the Utah Jazz because I absolutely love this team now. Michael Conley, I've been a huge fan of. I think they got a steal, even though I believe he's 30 or 31 now. He's spent quite a few days there in Memphis, but it's still a great deal, I think. And also good for Memphis. Finally moved on, clean the plate.
They're embracing the John Morant era, I think.
John Morant,
that shows.
Exactly. Okay, moving on. More basketball, NBA talk. Anthony Davis is officially a Los Angeles Laker. He was traded for quite the haul. So you're looking at Lonzo Ball. Let me pull up exactly what he got traded for because there was about, a page full.
Yeah.
A page full of it. So you got Lonzo Ball to the Pelicans. You have Brandon Ingram, who were the big two, right? I'm trying to find. There we go. Okay, I got it right here. So you have, wow, it's more than I thought. Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, Josh Hart, good shooter. Number 4 pick in the draft. They just traded that away to Atlanta. 2021 first-round pick with reverse protection. 2022 unprotected first-round pick. 2023 first-round pick swap. 2024 unprotected first-round pick with right to defer to 2020. That's crazy. So, basically, simple question: who won the trade?
I mean, I think if the Lakers end up winning a championship, then they win the trade. I mean, I think their whole goal with this is we have LeBron James on our team. We don't know how much longer we're going to have LeBron James on our team. We don't know how much longer we're going to have LeBron James playing in the NBA.
Right.
We need to win absolutely right now. We have no time to. So they just absolutely are saying, goodbye, future, hello, right now, get us another ring. And so I think if Anthony Davis helps LeBron win a ring, then they win the trade. But if nothing comes out of it, I mean, if they don't even sniff the finals then New Orleans absolutely wins because they took the Lakers' entire future, added Zion to it, and they could be the team in the West in 4 years. I mean, who knows? So I think it really is hard to say right now. So if the Lakers win, then they win the trade, in my opinion. But it's hard to say right now because they give up literally their entire future to win right now. So
I would say for both teams in their positions, you made good points there. But for both teams in their positions, I think it's win-win for them.
Yeah.
The question is who won the trade. I'm going to go with the Pelicans on this one. Now, I'm not 100% sure that Anthony Davis is a guy who can win you a title on his own, because if you're trading this much for the player, you have to have future implications that he's going to stay there and he's going to be the guy for the rest of time till his career is pretty much over. He showed us that in New Orleans. Now I understand that they didn't put much around him, but I'm not 100% sure the Lakers can do that either. Look at their draft history. What have they done exactly to put talent around anybody except for getting guys that get injured? And now they sent them both to.
And now they don't have any picks to put anyone around them.
Right. So the important part here for the Pelicans is Zion Williamson, because he was the foundation, right? And now you're able to get this stuff on top of that and build around the foundation that you already had established. Now, if they had to trade for the number one pick, that means a lot of their value would have considerably gone down, because that would have taken a couple of these picks out of the equation, because number one overall pick is not something you mess with, especially with Zion Williamson. So they get a lot of value for Zion Williamson that they didn't even have to trade for, right? They get all of these picks. They get two good defenders and Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, guys that they think they can develop, a good shooter in Josh Hart. They took, I'm not exactly sure, they got the draft. They traded back from 4. They got Nickeil Alexander-Walker, got traded from the Nets to the Pelicans at 17. For the Lakers, on the other hand, you didn't really have a choice either. You had to trade for Anthony Davis, trade for a superstar, because LeBron James might not be the same even next season. Yeah. So you had to sell out. You had to. You didn't really have much of a choice. So I understand the trade from both sides, but on paper, I mean, I don't care who it is. That's a laundry list to get rid of for one player.
That is.
So I'm going to go with the Pelicans, even though I'm not
Sounds
really.
like the Celtics were in contention with the Pelicans too.
They didn't want to give up Jason Tatum.
Yep, they didn't want to give up Jason Tatum.
And I think it's going to benefit the growth. If there's one thing we've learned, LeBron does not develop. He does not make players better around him. He does not develop young talent around him. Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram are both going to have a better chance at least. I'm kind of out on Brandon Ingram, as a matter of fact. I think the fact that Lonzo Ball is going to have the ball in his hands for a majority of the possessions now, along with
who's going to be that veteran guy from New Orleans now?
Jrue Holiday. Jrue Holiday is as veteran as a guard as gets. You know that as you can get. That's about exactly what you want. So Jrue Holiday. I'll have to go look at their bench. I'm not exactly sure who's on there, but I'm sure they're not going to start all the rookies right away or the young guys. But Lonzo Ball starting at point guard, I'm assuming. They're going to be a good defensive team, so I like what they did. And the Lakers.
I'm guessing it'll be Lonzo, Ingram, Zion, Randall, and Holiday at the starting 5.
Randall opted out of his contract, so I don't think he's going back to
New York. Wow.
Jackson Hayes, I think, is a guy that they took, I believe. Who was a good center out of Texas.
Yeah, out of Texas.
They got Jackson Hayes at number 8 for the Hawks. So That might be their starting center. I think Jahlil Okafor is still there. I'm not sure his free agent status. But I like the core that they're putting together, and I like that they're going to be a good defensive team. They're going to have an identity finally. So I like it for the Pelicans. All right, talking about the NBA draft, we're going to move on because I don't like winners and losers from the NBA draft. We've renamed it Heroes and Zeros, baby. Austin, give me your heroes.
All right. So for me, my heroes, I'm let's see what I put here. I'm gonna go ahead and start out with, and this is a team that you have also, the Philadelphia 76ers. So actually, you know what? I'll start out with New Orleans because we were just talking about them. Okay. I mean, obviously, they got Zion, which is the most coveted player I think we've seen since probably LeBron, honestly. A guy that you know for a fact is going to, one, bring you so much money to your franchise, and two, potentially bring you some wins to your franchise just because of how good we think he's going to be. I also think they were smart in trading back picks and just picking up other guys to potentially help, and then getting everyone they got from the Lakers. They pretty much didn't need to reach too much. They didn't need to go crazy. They got Zion. That's really all they were focused on. They got the guys from the Lakers. And so I think they were pretty content with that. And then for the 76ers, I think, like you were talking about identity-wise, I think they are trying to become more of a 3-and-D type team, maybe. I mean, they got the best defensive player in the draft from everything I've seen.
Martin, he is.
Yeah, at number 22. So they didn't go crazy for it. They got the guy they wanted at number 20, who Matisse Thybulle. He played at Washington. 3.5 steals a game, 2.5 blocks a game. I see here on this article, it says he was pretty much the free safety for the Huskies defense. Yeah. They play a zone defense. Yep, they play a zone defense, and he was the free safety. Not a tremendous shooter, but he can. He shot 31% from downtown from a pretty tall guy. So I think that was a great pickup. And we'll see what happens with the Sixers, of course, with Jimmy Butler. But I really think this guy could be another Robert Covington that the Sixers like. They like guys like that. And I think this guy could be an example of that. So those are my two heroes.
Yeah, I also had Philly on there, but for the sake of new content, I added another team. So number one, I think this is the easiest one, the Atlanta Hawks, and I'm not biased because they got the top. Okay, just shut your face. I already see you're about to say something. So,
I mean, what?
Can you look at me with a straight face and tell me the Atlanta Hawks didn't win this draft?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, sure. That they answered everything ever. So they trade up to number 4. They had number 8 and number 10. Okay, that is not exactly what you want. Now 8 and 10, you're like, okay, well we have 2 of the picks, right? But it's hard to trade those 2 picks to trade up to get into the top 3 for any of the guys that you really think that are going to change your franchise. So they trade up to number 4. They get DeAndre Hunter, who is a great defender, which the Atlanta Hawks suck at defense. So they needed DeAndre Hunter. He's the epitome of 3-and-D, just like you were talking about. Hit the game-winning shot in the national title game. They trade up to 4 to go get him. And then they get another shooter at Cam Reddish at number 10. Beautiful stuff. I love how Cam Reddish just fell to them somehow. Trading up to go get Hunter. Don't just sit back and get 2 mediocre guys. Go get a guy that you think can change this franchise or add along to the guys, John Collins, Trae Young, the foundation that you've already set.
And the thing with Cam Reddish is no one really knows how good he truly can be because he was in the biggest 2 shadows in college basketball last year.
Right.
I mean, who knows? That dude could have been a first-team all NCAA if he wasn't playing for the team he was playing for.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's a steal.
And the thing is, there might not even be minutes for Cam Reddish. And I know that sounds crazy, but you have Trae Young and you have Kevin Huerter. Now, I don't know if Cam Reddish is the guy who can play with the ball. Kevin Huerter was one of the best three-point shooters in the NBA last season. He was a rookie last year. The Red Rocket, okay? He is a monster at the 3-point line. So I'm not sure how Cam Reddish is going to exactly fit in, but it's kind of easy to fit in a good shooter like Cam Reddish. So I'm sure he's going to have plenty of minutes. There might be a little discrepancy at the beginning of the season, but I love what the Hawks did. So Hawks are my number one winner. I have the Boston Celtics. Now they didn't exactly have a very good position in the draft, but I do like who they took. You're looking at they drafted Matisse Thybulle, traded him to Philly. Excuse me. Took Grant Williams at number 22. And then they got Ty Jerome, point guard from Virginia, and won the national title. And then they traded that to the Suns. Then the second round is really where I think that they won. They got, let me see here, I can't think. Carson Edwards. That's who it is. 76ers draft Carson Edwards, trade him to the Boston Celtics, and they get a really good point guard who's very experienced at Purdue. Played with a lot of big guys. Now I know that you say that they need big guys. They did not address that. As a matter of fact, they traded away Aaron Baines. So, I mean, you didn't exactly address that very much, but I do like what they did. They got Grant Williams, who's a good rebounder. He's a small forward, power forward kind of combo from Tennessee. But I like what the Celtics did, and they got Romeo Langford, which was really the big prize here for me. This guy is a scoring guard at heart. He can score from anywhere on the floor. Only problem is his injury concerns. He's kind of slight, a little skinny. But I like Romeo Langford, especially at number 14. So I like what the Celtics did.
So I'll start with my zeros then with the Boston Celtics. I think they give away Aaron Baines. Al Horford is gone. And so you have Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Gordon Hayward will be kind of their starting front court, I guess, this season, with not a whole lot else. I thought Bull was there. I don't know what happened to Bull. I think that must have been a character thing or something. There's something that they knew that we didn't know of why Bull was sitting there so long and took until the second round to get drafted. I do like the Grant Williams pick a lot because I think he was tremendous at Tennessee. But the Romeo Langford pick, he was hurt in college quite a bit. I don't really know. He kind of seems like a poor man's version of Jason Tatum to me. So I don't know. I
mean, he did get drafted number 14, so that is a fair comparison.
Yeah. And they had one of the brightest futures in the league, but now I really don't know because I don't know who's going to – I hope Carson Edwards – because I'm a big Carson Edwards fan. I hope he can do something along with Terry Rozier maybe, but we'll see.
Terry Rozier even going to be there.
True, exactly. There's just a lot of question marks with this team. When you look back 3 years ago, this was like, this team's going to be winning finals here in like 3 years. And now it's like, oh, man, I don't even know what's happening with them anymore. And then my next loser is Phoenix. I'm not really sure what happened with Phoenix. They traded TJ Warren, right? And then they traded him to the Pacers, who's only 25 years old. And then they traded the 32nd pick for cash. So this seems like something, and it says here in this article I'm reading on Bleacher Report, it says they traded him. This is a move that a title contender would do. Say, oh, we're freeing up cap space to get a premier free agent. But they're not going to. So I don't understand what they're really doing. They're just trading away picks and other really young, good players for what? And then they got Dario Saric, I guess, which is okay. But then with the number 11 pick in the draft, they got the oldest player in the draft in Cameron Johnson, who played for North Carolina, but I don't know. I mean, he's been hurt too. He has hip issues and other kinds of things. I don't know what the Suns are doing, really. I really don't.
Yeah. My zeros, I'm going to just ride coattails on this one as well with the Suns. Now, my biggest problem was the Cameron Johnson pick. Not only was he not by far not the best player on the board. He was not the best player on the board left. He wasn't even the best player from North Carolina left on the board. Okay. You had Nassar Little. Now, he did fall in the draft. Little is better than Cameron Johnson. Okay, that's a fact. So I don't get it. I don't get why they're doing this. You had PJ Washington. You had Tyler Hero. You had Romeo Langford sitting there. You had two foreign players sitting there. And then went with Cameron Johnson.
I don't get it.
I don't get it either. And then they trade that 32nd pick for cash. I mean, yeah. Okay. I mean, yes.
What are you freeing up? Like, why do you need that much money? Like, you're gonna get Kawhi? No. Like, I don't understand.
They also traded TJ Warren to get TJ Warren in the draft.
TJ Warren isn't that bad. I don't understand. Like,
he's not.
He's pretty good.
He's a good scorer, but I guess they just loved Cameron Johnson at number 11. So that's one of my losers. And in mine, I have the Washington Wizards. Now, this basically solely goes off of, I don't know where the Wizards are right now. Are they still a borderline playoff team that they have been? They fell off completely last year because that was John Wall being out, Bradley Beal having to carry the team by himself. They drafted at number 9, the first Japanese player I think ever drafted. I think maybe that if I saw that right, Rui Hachimura. Probably butchered that name. He's a big guy from Gonzaga. He's a big small forward who's going to play good defense. He doesn't really shoot the ball all that great. He just kind of seems like a guy who deserved a little more development because he's just such an athletic freak. Now, where does that fit in with the Wizards? The only shooter on their team is Bradley Beal. He's the only shooter. So you drafted another non-shooter to go on your team. Otto Porter's back in Chicago. You got to shoot the ball to win. You can't do this. No. Now, I understand he has a large upside. That's a fact. He has a very high ceiling.
Bradley Beal can't be your only shooter.
Bradley Beal can't be your only shooter. That's the cold hard truth about it. John Wall is a guy that's not going to win you anything. I've been a huge John Wall hater pretty much my entire life. He was out all year last year. He's going to come back, and they're not going to be able to shoot the ball again. So I don't know why you're going to be surprised by it, Washington. You're going to miss the playoffs because you can't shoot the ball. Why can we shoot the ball? I don't know. Who did we draft? Future more when you had Cam Reddish right there. You had Cameron Johnson. I know you don't want to take him there. I'd rather you take Uchimura there. You had Romeo Langford, Tyler Hero. He's one of the better shooters in the draft. This isn't that difficult. Now, I know I like it at number 9. I don't like it with the Wizards. So I really don't like this pick at all for them. So, I mean, the Wizards are going to keep being the Wizards. That's yeah. All right. Moving on to the NFL. We got some competition-based game for you. So we are doing the best and the worst offseason head coaching hires around the NFL. So just to name a few, you have Adam Gase in New York. You have Brian Flores in Miami. Vic Fangio in Denver. You have Matt LaFleur in Green Bay. Cliff Kingsbury in Arizona. Bruce Arians in Tampa Bay. Probably leaving a couple out, I think. But you guys get the gist. So we're going to get the best and the worst for you. So, Austin, let's start with the worst.
Start the worst? Okay. So my worst is actually Vic Fangio for Denver. I understand he's coming off one of the best defensive teams there was in the league. But he's been with 5 different teams being a defensive assistant. He was a coordinator for a bunch of 5 different franchises. And so this is his first time being a head coach. I agree he has a lot of defensive pieces to work with, but I think it'll be tough for him dealing with a lot of the quarterback controversies that's going to be going on in Denver. I mean, you and I have talked about it so much. Joe Flacco, Drew Lock, Joe Flacco not wanting to work with Drew Lock, everything else. John Elway really likes Drew Lock. I think it could be really an interesting dynamic to see how Vic handles it. So it is promising. But I just don't know. I mean, I see 5 different head coaching franchises. The last one pretty good, but I like to see a little bit more consistency. And he's never been a head coach ever, so it seems like kind of a gamble to me more than anything.
Okay. I definitely disagree with that.
I know.
This is a guy that has been around the league. See, the thing is, you're looking at the coaching carousel as a reason why he's not going to succeed. I look at it as a reason why he will. He's been around the league. He knows exactly what you need in a defensive coordinator's room. Now the head coach, he is a grown-up at 60 years old coming in to a Denver team that is one amongst the most undisciplined teams with being under Vance Joseph for the past 2 years. Quarterback, I mean, who can figure that out right now? I don't think Drew Lock's the guy. I don't think Joe Flacco's the guy. That's my personal opinion.
See, that's a tough position to be in.
That is, but that does not make the coaching a bad hire. I think that makes it even better. The fact that you're willing to give this guy his specialty back, give him to Denver, get him Von Miller, get him Harris in the back at cornerback. You still have Simmons back there at safety. I really like this move, but I mean you don't, and that's okay. But I don't like Denver. It's really hard for me to compliment them. So that tells you how much I really like the hire. So for me, I'll go with the worst. I felt like this was an easy one with Cliff Kingsbury. So I put Cliff Kingsbury at number 1, but I'm going to talk about number 2 because you guys don't want to hear about it. I've talked about Kingsbury plenty of times. Freddie Kitchens. Now, again, I'm another guy who has not been really believing in the Cleveland Browns this offseason.
You're a Mayfield hater.
I'm a Mayfield realist.
Right.
Just like I'm a Kyrie Irving realist. I've been telling you the past 3 years what kind of guy Kyrie Irving is to a team. And now people are starting to realize it. Baker Mayfield. We'll get to that. Freddie Kitchens. This is the worst offseason hire outside of Cliff Kingsbury in the NFL. This is a guy that's not ready for this. Now, I understand that you don't know a guy and you don't know how they handle every situation. But I do know that this is a guy who didn't call plays up until last year, until Hugh Jackson got fired. Never called plays before. And all of a sudden, you are handing him the keys to a franchise that is expected to have the biggest reboot in NFL history. You're giving the keys to a guy who didn't call plays until halfway through last season.
Yeah, but he did good when he started calling the plays, though.
You're right. 7-8-1 season. You still had a 7-8-1 season. Okay. You are now expected to deliver not only a winning season, a Super Bowl performing season. That is expectations that even the greatest of head coaches falter under.
Yes.
Excuse me. Now you're telling me Freddie Kitchens is going to do that? You're telling me Freddie Kitchens is going to manage the personalities that of a Baker Mayfield, Kareem Hunt, Odell Beckham Jr., Myles Garrett. He's weird. There's so many personalities on this team that he's going to have to deal with. And you're going to tell me he's just going to flawlessly do this? A guy who has barely had any of the experience that you want from a head coach just walks into the room and says, I'm going to take these expectations of winning the Super Bowl and I'm going to multiply them times 10 and I'm going to go do it. That's not how it works. I'm sorry. It's just the only coach that can handle those expectations is Bill Belichick because he delivers above those expectations. So, Freddie Kitchens, outside Cliff Kingsbury, worst hire in the NFL.
So you want me to go with my best now?
Yes, sir.
So my best is Brian Flores for Miami. So I like that for one. So I talked about non-consistency with Vic. So I'm talking about consistency now. Brian Flores, 15 years with the division dominator in the New England Patriots. So learned from the best coach. Not debatable, the best coach. Spent 15 years with him in various roles, waited for his opportunity, found a role inside that division. A lot of new faces, a lot of potential for Miami, I feel like. And so I think that's a tremendous hire to get an interdivision guy who knows the teams well, who spent 15 years under the best in the NFL. I think it's a great hire.
I'm going to take it a step further than that because this was also my best hire. Call me crazy. I truly believe that this man is going to have a statue outside of the Miami Dolphins Stadium by the end of his career with the Dolphins. Given that he stays there, okay? That's always kind of the given. He stays in Miami. I truly believe that. So you're looking at a guy who's 38 years old, right? spent the last 15 years with the New England Patriots, like you were just saying. So, Austin, could you name me a defensive player on the Patriots that's worth anything outside of Trey Flowers and Stephon Gilmore?
Vince
No?
Wilfork was like one of my all-time favorite guys ever, but now he's not there
anymore. He's been retired for 5-6 years. So he's out. So you have Kyle Van Noy. He's a decent player, right? The fact that I can't name any of these guys tells you how good Brian Flores did in his job last season. He was the linebackers coach, which isn't really doing any justice because he was pretty much a defensive coordinator as well because he called the plays. Linebackers coach and play caller.
Yeah.
And if you don't remember the Super Bowl, he won the Super Bowl on his own. The play calls that he was doing were next level stuff with minimal talent on that defensive end.
He stopped the greatest offensive mind in the NFL in Sean McVay.
Yes.
Absolutely bested him.
On the biggest stage possible. This is a man that absolutely neutralized the lethal Rams offense that we were talking about. They didn't score a touchdown in the game. And you made Stephon Gilmore look like the best corner in the NFL and Trey Flowers look like one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. Good Lord. What else do you want from this guy? This guy did it all. 4-time Super Bowl champion. That's all you want. And I know that Bill Belichick doesn't have a very good coaching tree. That does matter to me. I think, he knows all my secrets, but I don't tell him everything, kind of sort of thing.
Yeah.
But this is a man I think is going to succeed great. He's going to have great expectations, and he's going to succeed quite a bit in Miami. Also, I love what they did in the draft, first round. He says, let me go get a guy in the trenches, a guy that is a very high character. Christian Wilkins, Clemson, defensive tackle. Go in there, you can bang down low. You got Xavier Howard. He led the NFL in interceptions last season at corner. You got Minka Fitzpatrick, very young, bright, young safety corner kind of slot guy that you got back there. And they have Josh Rosen at quarterback now. So they have a lot of talent as opposed to what they had last year. I like the draft. I like getting Josh Rosen. I love this hire. I think this is a guy that's going to change the Dolphins franchise as we know it. That's a big statement.
I'm very high on him. I think he could do very well. I mean, when you sit behind the best coach in the NFL for that long, you know what you're doing. And if anything showed from the Super Bowl, he knows what he's doing.
And the biggest part of this is how underrated he has become because of the Bill Belichick aura, because of the Bill Belichick, the personality that is Bill Belichick. Because Bill Belichick is a defensive-minded head coach. We've all known that. He's been his entire life. So he automatically then gets the credit for the defense. But what happened when Matt Patricia was that defensive coordinator? They were getting carved up like a turkey on Thanksgiving. It was terrible to watch. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, Brian Flores takes over linebackers coach, and then now he starts calling plays as soon as Patricia leaves. They have one of the best years defensively that they've had in a while, especially in the playoffs. Playoffs, they were a monster defensive team and pass rushing, which they didn't have any good pass rushers outside of Trey Flowers. So I love that. I think it's very underrated, the hire. I love Brian Flores in Miami. They're going to build a statue of him once he's done in Miami. All right. Moving on to the MLB. Very strange story yesterday. So Mets lose to the Nationals, I believe. Excuse me. I actually don't know if the Nationals, don't quote me on that, but they lose last night. Manager Mickey Callaway in the locker room gets into I want to call it a scuffle, but gets into a screaming match, cursing match with one of the reporters from the Daily News in the locker room. And then Jason Vargas, former Royals pitcher, by the way, also gets into a physical altercation with this reporter after something the reporter allegedly had said.
It was the Cubs.
The Cubs. They lost to the Cubs. Right. Okay. This is insane. I've never heard of a story.
Really odd.
Very odd. So let me tell you why this is happening. Now, this is kind of going to be – I'm getting on my soapbox here.
Go for it, dude. This is all you. This is all you.
It's obvious that the Mets are – I'm not a huge fan of the Mets, right? I'm a Braves fan, live in Atlanta. They're the most hated team around here, bar none. Everyone hates the Mets. Here's why there's such turmoil, because none of this happened last year. Now, the Mets were just bad last year because, well, they're the Mets. They were bad last year. Everyone expected them to be that way, right? That's not exactly the same thing this year. This year, they came in with expectations, just like the Cleveland Browns are coming in with expectations. You're coming in with expectations so that people are thinking, wow, this team might actually surprise us.
Yeah.
That surprise is immediately gone. The biggest surprise is Pete Alonso. This guy's he's pretty much already sealed up NL Rookie of the Year. He's had 27 home runs, 61 RBIs playing at first base for the New York Mets. Beautiful player. He's been hitting the ball very well. He's the only bright spot on this team. So in the offseason, they traded for Robinson Cano and Edwin Diaz from the Mariners. Edwin Diaz has not pitched very well at all, especially this past month for the New York Mets. Robinson Cano has not played well at all for the New York Mets, batting .228, only 16 RBIs. He's hurt like he always is. Robinson Cano at second base. And Med Rosario, a guy that's actually surprised quite a few people, hitting .257. He has 9 home runs, 30 RBIs. That's actually what you expected from him because he's a defensive fazan. Then you have Todd Frazier. He finally came back. Jeff McNeil's a guy that you always like, left fielder, second base, third base, kind of can play him anywhere. He can play on a lot of teams. Juan Lagares, Michael Conforto. All these guys are having pretty decent years, but they're still losing. Why is that? Why is Syndergaard struggling still? This guy doesn't even look like he should be in the rotation. You have Jacob deGrom doing his thing, 3.57 ERA. He's doing his thing. Syndergaard's struggling. The rest of the rotation isn't that bad. They're about middle of the pack in the MLB, but they're still losing. Now, I can't exactly explain to you how that keeps happening, but I can explain to you the turmoil that
Maybe the story shows a little bit of why.
Right. The turmoil that it causes when you have the expectation. People are playing to the expectation, but you're still losing.
Rather than just playing.
It's a triangle, but one of the ends is missing. Guys are playing well. You're losing. The expectation's still there. Why are you losing still? That is what's causing the team to absolutely fall apart this season. This is the biggest joke in sports right now, along with the New York Knicks. New York, you guys suck. You guys don't have anything going on for you except for the Yankees right now and the Rangers. So this is terrible for them. Brandon Nimmo is a guy that I'm not really believing in anymore. He's on 10-day IL right now. I mean, what is it about this Mets team that's falling apart? I mean, the expectation, is this crumbling this team single-handedly? I don't know.
I think they're not just playing. They're saying, oh, we have to do this and this and this to live up to it, rather than just saying, let's just go do our thing. Let's just, like after the Royals lost in 2014, the World Series, they had the expectation to say, you should be right back there in 2015. They didn't start out great. And then they're like, why are we doing this? Let's just go out and play. And then they were the best team in the American League by far. And they won the World Series. They just go out there and play. There's no reason to get so bent up on the expectation. I think it's causing locker room problems. Clearly they are pretty fired up whenever they lose a game and out in the locker room. I mean, my God, something is not right. Something is not right.
So before we move on, I want to go down through the NL East right now, through every team, and we'll look at the turmoil that these teams are in right now. So you have the Atlanta Braves at number 1. They're in first place. They're about, I think, 6.5 games up in first place. You have Brian Snitker. His job is firmly in that driver's seat. He is not losing his job anytime soon. Gabe Kapler, Philadelphia Phillies, they're struggling. There's turmoil in that locker room as well. Bryce Harper's not hitting. The fans are starting to turn on this team. Gabe Kapler is in the hot seat. As soon as we were talking about the Phillies winning the World Series, Gabe Kapler is now in the hot seat. Go to the Washington Nationals. Their manager, hot seat. Strasburg, Scherzer, still doing their thing, not winning. Rendon, trade block. Victor Robles, bright spot. But you're looking at everything else, and you're like, why are we not winning? Same thing that's happening with the Mets. Guys are playing okay. What's happening to us? Expectations, they're crumbling. Their manager might be fired. That's 2 already. New York Mets, Mickey Callaway. After this stunt, I'm surprised he wouldn't even make it even to the All-Star break. He's probably getting fired. That's 3. Marlins manager, Don Mattingly. They have had a dreadful season last year. This year actually kind of starting to turn around a little bit. It's kind of strange. They're playing well as recent. Still, he might be fired too. If they have another 100-loss, 120-loss season, he's probably gone. What is happening to the NL East? The Braves are the only team that has a manager that is not in the hot seat right now. Incredible. I'm glad to be a part of it, but holy crap.
It's pretty wild.
It's absolutely crazy. And the Phillies, is just baffling because your two aces, Jake Arrieta and Aaron Nola,
they're supposed to be pretty good too.
But they're not. They're not playing well at all. They're both giving up home run balls like it's charity. Yeah. It's unbelievable. They're throwing home run derby out there. So they're not winning. Mets aren't winning. Nationals aren't winning. Marlins weren't expected to win, but they're not winning either. This division is crumbling right before our eyes, and it starts and ends with the Mets. It's truly incredible how expectation can crumble a team.
It is.
Watch with the Cleveland Browns this season. Expectations can crumble you, and that depends on what kind of player you are. So we'll have to see this year. But, all right, we're going to top 5, baby. You guys know what it is every single show now. Top 5s. We're gonna do top 5 all-time Lakers and top 5 all-time least favorite actors. We did top 5 favorite last time. Top 5 least favorite this time. Austin, I did enough talking. Take it away.
All right. So we want to start with the Lakers first.
Yes.
All right. So I actually am representing my goat costume today, as you can see. Totally by accident. So I'll start from 5 down. So 5 was really tough because there's some players that could really be interchanged at 5. I mean, you can put Shaq there. Elgin Baylor can certainly be there. Wilt Chamberlain can certainly be there. I mean, there's some pretty serious monsters. So I put Shaq there at number 5. I mean, they have a statue of the guy in the arena. I mean, and I think that's when Shaq was truly in his prime, was with the Lakers. I mean, he was truly, a lot of people don't really, he was better than Kobe when it was Shaq and Kobe.
Yeah.
He was the guy in LA. And then that's where Kobe really developed into how he ended up. But Shaq was the beast of that team. Number 4, I have Jerry West. I mean, he's the logo of the NBA. I mean, he's got to make up my top 5. He's the logo of the entire NBA. Didn't win as many rings because he had to deal with Bill Russell. So it was pretty much him versus Bill Russell and pretty much the entire 1960s. Bill Russell winning a primary amount of those.
Yeah.
But Jerry West was a beast. Him and Elgin Baylor on the same team, of course. Just absolute monsters. Logo of the NBA. Number 3, I have Magic Johnson. He's just, I feel like, probably the favorite Laker of all time also. I mean, he's just such a likable guy, got a big smile, he's just having a good time. Definitely celebrity status in Los Angeles. Everyone remembers him playing for college, winning the national championship with Michigan State, and then having a great time down in the beach on LA, and of course starting the whole Showtime Lakers, just fast break offense, always, not every missed rebound, I'm taking it and we're gone. Number 2, I got to put the Black Mamba on there. Iconic. Just everyone says it's tough between 1 and 2, in my opinion, between Kobe. Because, I mean, I think he embraced a new age from Magic of saying, we are the hardest fight. We fight harder. We work harder. I refuse to lose mentality, similar to Jordan. I think him and Jordan have the same exact mindset of, we're not losing. Like, I don't care who I really piss off or who gets in my way. We're not losing. Yeah. Like, it's not happening.
Yeah.
And then I have Kareem at number 1. Just the most unguardable shot probably of all time. The all-time NBA leading scorer, won the MVP literally so many times. He was just truly a freak of nature in college and in the NBA. The dude couldn't be stopped. I think even if he played now in his prime, I still don't think he'd be stopped. He was that good. So he's number 1 for me.
Yeah. We all have this pretty much the exact same players. For me, at number 5, I chose Elgin Baylor over Jerry West.
Yep.
Now the titles were missing there, so that's a reason why it's kind of hard to put both of them there. But the stats don't lie. Elgin Baylor averaging 28 a game. I put Elgin Baylor at number 5. He's also he's one of the more underappreciated players of all time too. So
he's so good on 2K. If you play any all-time teams, the dude's absolutely cold-blooded.
He is. Number 4, I have who I think is Now I'm gonna. This is kind of hard to say. I think he's the most dominant player ever, but I don't think that makes him the greatest player ever. Shaquille O'Neal was the most dominant player in his era, and I think of all time, at the one thing that he did, which was, I'm taking you to the hole, and there's not a damn thing you're gonna do about it.
So true.
There's nothing you're gonna do about it because I'm bigger, I'm stronger, and I have a can-do attitude that's gonna get that ball in the hole.
Exactly.
And he did that every single possession. And there's nothing anyone. I mean, the only guy that was able to stop him was Hakeem the Dream, and that was toward the end of his career. And when Shaq was finally with the Lakers and with the Magic, or I don't think he actually played with the Lakers, but when he's with the Magic, that was toward the end of his career. That's the only guy that could stop him. I mean, and especially the beginning of his career. Shaq was a guy who could take it coast to coast. People forget about that. He was skinny at one point. He could take it coast to
with
coast.
The Magic, he was, yeah.
Right. He's an all-around athlete. So I got Shaq at number 4. Number 3, I have Magic because there is just something special about him, and I don't mean just his name, Magic Johnson. Walking triple-double. Everything was flashy. Showtime Lakers. He reinvented the game. Really, truly created. This is something that I don't think anyone's ever done before. He created an era. He didn't play in an era. He created an era. As long kind of the same thing Steph Curry's doing right now. He's creating
him and Larry Bird together.
Right. Him and Larry Bird, they created that era of basketball. Space and pace. You're going to run up the floor, showtime, nice fancy passes.
Yep.
Favorite pass of all time when he's on the wing. Just takes the ball and absolutely drills it on the ground to, I'm not sure who it was, in the middle of the court.
Yep.
And he's able to lay it in. I mean, he just fires that baby right in there. I love the bounce pass. I love that he patented that pretty much.
Yeah.
I got Magic Johnson number 3. If he didn't contract his HIV, he probably would be number 1. Like, this is how good this guy, if his career was longer, he would be holding so many all-time records. So Magic at number 3. Number 2, still the best player I've ever seen that I've ever seen with my own eyes, Kobe Bryant. This is a guy that there wasn't a single thing that he could not do. Post scoring, shooting off a fadeaway, contested shots, 3-point shots, defending. He had that nasty mentality that I'm going to win no matter what. There's nothing you can do about it either. I don't care. He's like, I don't care how bad my teammates are. I'm going to win this game. There's nothing you can do about it. I love that attitude. The Mamba mentality still lives on throughout the NBA. Not as much, though. I'd like for more guys to play like Kobe did. He's one of my personal favorite players of all time. I just love. It's just hard to describe. Like, you watch him play, there's just something about him that is special. That is just one of a kind. That's the only way I can say it. He is truly one of a kind. Something that I've never seen before and probably will never see again. So Kobe number 2, and then number 1, who arguably could be considered the greatest player of all time. I'm going to list a couple things for you. 2-time Finals MVP, 6-time MVP, regular season, 6. Also 6 championships, 10-time All-NBA first team, 5-time All-NBA second team, 5-time All-NBA defensive first team, all defensive first team, 6-time All-Defensive second team, Rookie of the Year, 2-time NBA scoring champ, 4-time NBA blocks leader in the regular season. Number 33 retired by 2 separate teams, Milwaukee and the Lakers. 3-time NCAA champion.
Exactly.
You know how hard that is?
So hard.
You know how it is to get to 1 Final Four? 3 championships. Unbelievable. That was when he was Lou Alcindor. Yeah. He was going at UCLA with Coach Wooden. This was the can't-miss prospect of the draft of that era. Can't miss on Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the sky hook, the most patented, the most beautiful signature shot in NBA history. Yep. Might be the greatest player of all time over Michael Jordan. I said it. I don't care. He might be. I'm not.
He's got to be. He's number 3 on my list.
And you know what's funny? I still think he's underappreciated. I do. I don't think people.
A lot of people don't know what you just said.
Yeah, I don't think people consider Kareem as this guy. I think they consider Kareem as, oh yeah, he's one of the greats. No. He's one of the greats. Yeah. He's not one of the greats. He's one of the greats.
Get that right.
Get that right. So number one, I think that was by far and away number one. So Kareem at number one. Okay. Top five least favorite actors. Interesting. Let's go, Austin.
It was tough. It was tough. So I'll go from 5 down. I put Taylor Lautner. Does he even really count as an actor? Because I mean, I think truly he's just in movies because of his appearance.
Yeah.
I think literally there's no other reason he's appeared on anything other than his appearance. 4 is I actually have Rob Lowe. All of his characters to me just kind of seem the same. Just kind of I don't know, like
happy-go-lucky kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Just we're just kind of happy guys. Not a whole lot else to it.
Yeah.
Next, I have Ben Affleck because I feel like he's either like, for example, in Good Will Hunting, he's either like a trash Boston guy or he's a superhero. It's like, and not a great superhero either. I think he's terrible as Batman. And Daredevil was actually an interesting. Have you ever seen that movie? That's an interesting movie.
Unfortunately, I did, yes.
And not spectacular, but I don't know. It's kind of the same thing with Rob Lowe. He kind of has two. Tyler Perry, I hate his movies. I hate the Medea movies. I don't think they're funny at all. I know he's the guy that kind of writes them and directs them, and he's acts in them, and I think they're just all terrible. Oh. That's kind of really what he's known for. I mean, what else is there really? And then number one, I actually have Rebel Wilson. To me, the only one who can pull off I'm funny because I'm fat is Chris Farley. Like, he's the best, like, by far, because he was just so crazy. Rebel Wilson's kind of like subtly like, I'm fat and funny and British, and I'm not feeling it. Like, she's in those Pitch Perfect movies, which are kind of funny, but she's like, I don't know. She's just like trying too hard, I guess. It's like, you can be funny and not be fat too. Like, it's like Chris Farley was freaking hilarious and he was fat. Like, you know? So I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of that.
That's great. Okay, for me, pretty much 1 through 4, if any of these guys are in a movie, I won't watch it. That's how much I don't like. That's how much I hate these guys.
It's really tough.
It's tough. Number 5, I put up with the Avengers. He ruined the Incredible Hulk. Mark Ruffalo. He turned the Incredible Hulk into this big, menacing guy that's going to just destroy stuff, into just a soft guy that's smaller. He's more complicated. He's more about the brains than the brawn. No, that's not what he is. Stop doing that. So Mark Ruffalo totally ruined the character. They've already made enough Incredible Hulk movies. They're not going to make any more anytime soon. So this is the Hulk we're stuck with. I don't like that. So suck it, Ruffalo. Okay, so number 4, Pauly Shore. Is there ever a guy who thinks he's funny but he's really not? You always have that friend who just sucks. That's Pauly Shore. He just flat out sucks. He's not funny.
What's he in? Like, what's his movie?
I mean, I don't even want to. There's so many bad ones. I don't know specifically. Son-in-law. I'm just listing them off. In the Army Now, Biodome, Jury Duty. I mean, just horrendous films. Truly bad. So number 3, Austin. There's nothing I hate more in this world than fake action. Guys who pretend they're badass. Guys who pretend that they know how to do stuff when they truly just suck. Steven Seagal, number 3. Not only is he a bad actor, he's fat. And he's not a good action actor. He can't do anything. Steven Seagal is completely useless on the screen. Will not watch anything he's on. Number 2, Nick Cage.
Jeez.
I'm roasting guys out here.
You are.
Nicolas Cage. I'm not really sure what else I have to say. I mean, is there ever more of a polarizing actor of all time? I mean, this is a guy who plays everything and nothing at the same time. The worst and the best roles you've ever seen in your life. More of the worst for me. But Nick Cage is number
I
2.
think he's good in those National Treasure movies.
Because he's so freaking crazy. He matches it. I
He
mean,
does.
think about the plot. I'm going to steal the Declaration of Independence. That's something Nick Cage would absolutely do. I'm not even sure that was a movie. I think that was just a documentary following him around.
Oh, my God.
Number 1, my most hated actor, Melissa McCarthy.
Wow.
Yes. She ruined Ghostbusters. She has made numerous movies unfunny. Identity Theft was one of the worst movies I've ever seen, and I love Jason Bateman. Bridesmaids, she made it almost unbearable. I do not like Melissa McCarthy in the least bit. I don't think she's funny at all. The Happy Time Murders was one of the worst reviewed movies this year. So Melissa McCarthy's definitely my number 1.
Wow.
But you know what, though? I didn't roast her as hard as I roasted Steven Seagal. So I'm going to let it go.
That's fair.
Steven Seagal, get roasted. All right, moving on. We're going to do our Twitter poll question of the day. We're going to have 2 for you. 1 sports, 1 non-sports. You guys know the deal. Our sports one. The toughest position to play in football outside of quarterback. Your options are center, cornerback, middle linebacker, and defensive tackle. And for our second question, our non-sports, which car signifies American muscle the most? Ford Mustang, Pontiac GTO, Chevy Chevelle, or Dodge Challenger?
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, that's a tough one. So for me, I'm going to go with center. I think is the toughest position to play outside of. Actually, no, I'm going to take it back right immediately. I'm going to go with corner. Not only is it the toughest position, but I think it's also the most, like, you can easily tell when a corner messed up. And people see that. So I think corner. And then for me, I feel like Chevelle is the slam dunk answer here because that's just the most classic car of all time. So I'm going to go with Chevelle, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's a blowout either. So.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go center because I think there's a lot more skill to that position than people think. You have to read the defensive line, tell the quarterback what they're getting ready to do,
like
and then snap it to them perfectly.
They're like another play caller.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they set up the offensive line and then getting the ball to the quarterback perfectly in the right place. And then for the car, I'm curious to see what will happen between Chevy and Ford. Because I think some people will choose just because they like the companies between Chevy and Ford. So I would say Ford just to make you 50-50 with you. Because I want to see what it would be like.
Okay. See, I didn't want to put Chevelle in there because I feel like that's a very popular answer. But I ended up putting it in there. But outside of that,
Mustang's a popular one though too.
They are. Dodge Challenger is a good one, and GTO is also. GTO is kind of more of the collector's one. GTOs are for purists, not us. Like, we're average car fans. They're for the purists, right? So GTOs
they're for the real fans.
Yeah, exactly. They're for the real fans. We're fake fans. Hashtag. So, yeah. All right. Moving on to fact or fiction, the greatest segment that has ever been written. I said it. I don't care. I don't care. We're doing it. Fact or fiction. Austin, you are 13 of 24 on the year. Are you ready?
I'm always ready. I'm ready to get some dubs.
All right. Number 1. The breed that has the most similar DNA to a wolf, a purebred wolf, is the Australian cattle dog, or that in Egypt, there is a time where you could be sentenced to death for harming a cat. So we got dog and cat in both of these. I just realized that.
Yeah. Wow. I'm going to say the Egyptian one is real. Because I feel like that's just so bizarre. I don't know. And so I'm going to say the Egypt one is real.
You are correct.
Are you serious?
Good job. You got it. Yeah, you got it. I mean, that's upsetting for me, but yeah, you got that one.
I feel like, don't they have like some kind of the Sphinx or whatever like thing in Egypt? So
yeah.
I feel like maybe cats or
it's not a current rule, by the way. This is ancient Egypt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. All right, number 2. Very quick one, like a one-liner. You can buy chicken nuggets infused with small amount of lunar dust, or that the Dead Sea is not entirely dead.
Oh. I'm going to say the lunar dust because no way that's real. But if it is, I'm going to go crazy.
So you're going with the lunar dust.
I am.
It is not real.
Okay. You know what? That actually makes me feel good that it's not. Because what in the world?
Yeah, it's a tough one.
So the Dead Sea is not dead.
Yeah, I exited out of the page, but there was an explanation for it. I didn't bother to read it.
Well,
I just win.
Well, there you go.
Right. Okay. And following this segment, guys, we're gonna have 2 new segments to end our show that we're gonna have on Mondays. So stay tuned. So number 3.
I gotta have it.
We always come down to this.
It does.
2 of 3 or 1 of 3.
Always comes down to the last one. Gotta have it.
Number 3. Only about 1,000 people still speak Latin fluently, or that a cornflake shaped like the state of Illinois sold at auction for $1,350.
Oh, I feel like you mess with the numbers in this one. Maybe with both of them. That's what's really. I'm gonna say the cornflake is real.
2 of 3. Congratulations.
Why would anyone pay for that? Why?
I don't know. You're right. I did screw with the numbers. Only 100 people still know Latin fluently.
So you added a 0.
I added a 0. You sniffed me out.
Let's go. Another good day.
Man, you are playing very well.
I have had a good season.
You're doing great.
Good productive year.
Now I don't know if that's more a poor reflection on me, on my performance, or if it's more on you for your good performance. But I don't like it either way. I don't.
Let's go.
I hate losing more than I like winning.
That's fair.
So I'm mad now.
You have the Mamba mentality.
I have Mamba mentality. That's right. All right. So me and Austin just came up with this just today. Instead of Furious Favors, we're booting that out of here. We're gonna have split segments to end the show. So I'm going to have George's bet of the day, and Austin's going to have Austin's today in sports history. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a bet that I would want to have every Monday now. So today, my bet of the day is going to be the Warriors are at plus 200 to lend Kevin Durant, which I think is crazy. I think they should be the favorite.
What is that exactly for?
So that means for the line right there. So the Nets are now the favorite at minus 250, and now you have the Warriors at an underdog at plus 200. So Nets at minus 250, have to bet $250 to win 100. Warriors at plus 200 have to bet have to bet $100 to win $200. So crazy odds. I feel like the Warriors should be the heavy favorites right now, especially with the Achilles injury. Sign a year, maybe rehab a little bit, then go somewhere else after a 1-year contract. So that's a crazy deal to me. The Clippers are also at plus 800 for that. Put $5 on that, and that pays for itself. So those are some good bets for you guys to go win in Vegas.
All right. So today, June 24th, was the day that the American Professional Football Association was named the National Football League back in 1922. And then the Chicago Staleys were renamed to be the Chicago Bears, which now they currently still are. So it's crazy. The NFL was renamed today.
All right. That is Meet Me Halfway. Austin, you got to say bye to the people.
Goodbye, people.
All right. Meet Me Halfway, Jordan Griffith, Austin McNorton. Thank you guys for watching. We're going to be on Thursday no matter what. We're very sorry for all of these interruptions. So what we're going to do is, because we've missed so many freaking shows, we're going to have to, if we miss a show, we're going to have to make it up later that week, because we can't go weeks without talking sports again, because our schedules conflict sometimes. It kills us. So if we can't do it on a Monday or a Thursday, we'll get on a Friday or a Saturday. We'll get it in no matter what. So two shows a week. Yeah. Monday, Thursday is typically what they're going to be. But stick in there with us, guys. Promise it'll be worth it. Thank you guys for watching. Meet Me Halfway. You guys have a great day.